All right, my friends, welcome back to another V-Rising video. This one is going to be a special one. We are going to be returning to our roots in V-Rising. If you've been following this channel for a while, you are well aware of where I began with V-Rising. Initially, it was just a bunch of boss guides, but after that, I started doing some theory crafting for fast progression, where I took a lot of different strategies and some of the experience that I had over time and basically just theory crafted a really good start or a really good run as best as I possibly could. And it has been a while since I've done this, so I decided that I would see if I could beat, I don't know, the fastest time, quote unquote, that I have seen on YouTube for a level 50. So I got to work theory crafting the fastest possible way that I could think of to get to level 50. And it took me a while to get a run that I was happy with, where I didn't make a ton of mistakes or just had, you know, super bad RNG where I would just get super unlucky every time I went to try to do something. And this is the run we came with. So I had to focus up in this run. I was not actually talking or narrating anything that I did. So what I'll do, I decided what I'm going to do here actually is kind of just narrate as I go and just tell you my thought process, exactly what I'm doing here. So keep in mind, I wasn't actually initially wanting to make this like some kind of official speed run, so I didn't actually have any kind of speed run timer. This is a 1x private server. Just literally just clicked on normal mode and hit start, and that's, you know, the kind of runs I'm doing here. So interesting first choice here, I went West Farbane. So keep in mind, East Farbane has long been the location of choice for the veterans of the game, basically try to get an early alpha wolf. However, those who know a lot about this game likely will know that there are 3 alpha wolf spawns, and they spawn simultaneously. There's one in East Farbane, there's one here in West Farbane, and there's one just north of Bandit logging. So essentially what I'm trying to do here is make sure I have enough, a decent amount of blood, because a lot of times when I do this specific strat, I just don't kill enough stuff to get enough blood. I'm also looking for some bones. I'm looking for some rugged hide. Essentially everything that you need early on here. And from there, we are going to run over. Now, this is an interesting strat here. Obviously, we hit level 10. Interesting strat. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the West Farbane start, there's a really cool route you can take here, where it's actually not that far to Alpha Wolf. I actually don't know if it's any closer to go East Farbane. I honestly haven't timed it, so for all I know, this could be technically be slower, but to me it feels pretty much the same to do this side, maybe just a little bit slower, just barely slower. However, the advantage to going this way is right here, this one little camp right here. You'll see there's some breakables, but there's also quite a few options for chest spawns. So you can get some really nice early things here. Look at that. So we get some, you know, coarse thread. I actually don't even know if we got that box over there. I walked past it. I think I actually skipped the other one. Well, that's okay. We just have to get out of here. So yeah, I skipped the box. Kind of silly, but yeah. Or chest anyway, but you can see this is the items that we got here. It wasn't amazing, but you can get lucky and get like a decent amount of coins, which is super nice. Early coins are actually so important for any run. Really just as many copper coins as you can possibly get are really nice. And from here, we're gonna head over to Alpha Wolf. And again, this is on normal mode. We're not doing this on brutal. I'm not really interested in speedrunning brutal mode, to be honest. I've done so many different types of early strats and theory crafting that for me, brutal is kind of just like that mode where I could bash my head against, you know, the brick wall that is brutal mode a lot. But for me, I don't know. I just don't really enjoy speedrunning it whenever, you know, you can be having a really good run and then just make one single mistake and get screwed over for it. I don't know. It's also, whenever you're on brutal PvP servers, I'm not really looking to speedrun in those. I'm kind of just speedrunning in a way in certain situations or certain things, but more so, I'm just looking to survive, you know? So we're gonna go ahead and kill Alpha Wolf here. What I'm doing here is I'm actually dragging him off the road towards some materials, the wood and the stone nodes right over here. This is really nice. We're actually gonna do a quick base very soon, where we just plop down a base really quickly. I tried to kind of keep this run again, like I said, I'm not really doing necessarily a speed run per se, where I'm like just like totally foregoing everything that you would do on like populated server. I actually tried to keep it fairly legit, if that makes sense, like where I was making decisions that I would make in a populated server that you know, I wouldn't suffer from. So for instance, I'm not going to like build a base with no walls. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm going to basically do things where you could absolutely pull this off on a fresh server, given that everything goes perfectly. I will say this is definitely not something you know, that everything can go perfectly all the time. We got an Unsullied Heart here, super nice. That's actually an extremely important RNG element that can be really annoying for one part of this run. I've had situations where I got 2 Unsullied Hearts for a very long time, and it was just very frustrating having to try to farm some more. So what we're doing here, we're going through Bandit Copper, quickly getting chests. I'm not actually looking to kill anything here. I'm just getting chests, so the coins are nice, but we're actually looking for is copper ore and copper ingots. As a failure of a T-pose there, a little counter. So you can see these little chests here. You'll see we hit some boxes. We get some copper ingots in some of these. A little recipe there, not really that big a deal. We're specifically looking for copper ingots. The copper ingots save us a lot of time. Right now we have 2. And the copper ore saves us some time too. So we don't have any upgraded like reinforced bone weapons or bandit weapons right now. We only have base stuff. So what we're going to have to do here, we're actually going to let Errol the Stonebreaker farm these nodes for us. So we aggro him, we just stand right here. Remember I mentioned we need some blood as well. So we are going to try, we don't want to aggro that group over there. We're just a little bit too low level to deal with all these guys at once. The patrol. Yep, so we have a decent amount of copper. I'm just trying to get him to break a couple more things. And then what we're going to do, we're actually going to start hitting these guys. It took a little bit of damage from them, but we're gonna start hitting these guys. I realized that I actually needed them because, like I mentioned, a lot of times I forget to kill things, and then I don't have enough blood to make a castle heart. So we need 50 blood here. So I realized, these guys are just sitting here, and I'm kind of just like waiting. So I'm afraid to break stuff. So I might as well just take advantage of it and just get all the blood that we need here. As you can see, we just got enough blood, and grab this coarse thread here, and we are out. So we're not trying to stay too long in here, just really loot some chests, kill a little bit of things, get some copper ore. Copper ore is going to be really useful. So you can see here we have about 400, and honestly we ended up having enough copper ore to get a copper weapon if we wanted to. So copper weapon's about 400 copper ore. Grab these chests. I figured we might as well just grab them really quickly. See if we can get lucky. Any kind of nice drops in here. More leather would be really nice. More leather, the merrier. So we have some things here. I am going to be dropping some things that I probably would normally keep in a regular run. But you can't, you can't really keep everything. I don't have a lot of space in my inventory, and that's going to be a really important factor very soon. So just having enough space is critical. So from here, we're going to be running across. I got a little bit confused where I was going here, but because I was kind of like looking at my inventory and looking what I needed to drop. We're going to be headed over to Bandit Lumber. Bandit Lumber, super important for early wipes here because it has planks. Getting planks early, we're looking for at least 8 so that we can build a workbench. At least 8. Otherwise, you'd have to sit there and wait for your sawmill to refine, and it's just not very fun. So essentially, you break every single breakable, even the ones up here. This counts as inside the POI, so these ones can drop planks as well, which is why I'm breaking them. We're getting some chests, looking for all of the planks that we possibly can. I'm checking inside that little tiny hut to see if there's any chests in there. My camera. By adjusting the camera angle, and we have this big aggro. Obviously we're definitely worried about these guys, don't want to fight them. We could fight them, just right now they're just kind of a distraction. So Try to hit one of them to heal myself a little bit, but... And we're not really keeping seeds right now either, because this run, I'm not really worried about it. So we're already at 6 planks. Again, we're looking for at least 2 more. We just hit it right there. Dodge out of the way. Don't want to get mobbed by them. We're up to 13. Now, honestly, I was in a bit of a rush here. If I was playing a little bit, you know, slower, I probably would have kept hitting every single breakable to maximize our chances to get 16 planks. Because 16 planks is enough to do a workbench and a tannery without having to build a sawmill. But it's okay. 13's fine. We can do a sawmill, no big deal. We are going to need a lot more planks for this run. So my goal was like, maybe I can like get exactly 16 and just build a sawmill and not have to worry about anything. Okay, so here is where the 88 coins we have so far. Such a huge amount. Some people might be tempted to go forge floors, but that's not even going to be necessary in this run. Obviously, forge floors are always nice. If you're in a duo, this run, by the way, if you're in a duo, this strat is going to blow your mind. Any duos looking for crazy new strats, this strat is going to absolutely blow your mind. I feel like it's probably pretty obvious how to run this as a duo. You kind of split up and do 2 different angles. So from... But yeah, we'll get to that in just a second here. So from here, we are going to quickly base right outside Keely. And the reason why is because there's a little space over here. You can kind of just do this. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And now I did put these walls up because like I mentioned, I wanted to make it kind of seem like quote unquote legit. So I had to farm a little bit here. If I had been doing a full-on speed run, I just wouldn't even put walls up, to be honest. It just wouldn't have mattered. But I was like, you know what? I want to see what this is like if I was actually in a server, which to me is the most important thing that we can do. By the way, if you didn't notice, we went to the trader and we bought a bandit weapon, and we bought a brew of ferocity. Brew of ferocity, extremely good at this level. At such a low level, the percentage of damage increase you get from that brew of ferocity is just crazy. It's like 3 damage doesn't sound like a lot, or 3 physical power doesn't sound like a lot. It is such a huge amount at this level. Keep in mind, at end game, some of the legendaries have like 3 physical power or whatever. So you can understand why that's such a big deal. I mean, you know, what's it? Potion of Rage is only 6, so you can see what I mean by that. Just that 3 is such a huge deal this early on. So definitely, if you have the coins and the funds to get that, it's worth doing. So right now we're just quickly taking a very small amount of time to just get this up and running. So the reason I'm doing this, I realized that originally I was doing the Dunley lumber strat instead of what I'm doing here. And just going and grabbing copper ingots, but then running for the rest of the strat here. But I realized, honestly, I just did not want to deal with the garlic and the RNG of not getting what I needed. It just is so obnoxious. There would be times where I would get like 40 copper ingots or 30 copper ingots and be like, cool, I mean, I'm set for life. But then I have a ton of garlic and I have to deal with the rest of the run. So instead, what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of building like this. You can actually fit that workbench inside. I'm being stupid by not putting it out there. You can fit it inside here as well. This little 2x2 base is really nice. By the way, this is another strat if you guys are interested. Doing a little 2x2 base like this, you can fit a sawmill, a tannery, and your workbench inside. I'm sorry, sawmill, what's it called? A furnace and a tannery inside, and I think you might be able to fit your workbench as well. I believe you can. So really nice, just a little mini base, but it's easy to set up and easy to break down. But from there, we just hit a quick 21. I'm just getting some upgraded armor, upgraded ring. Wasn't necessary to kill Keely like this. However, it just speeds things up a lot faster. And we do want that little bit of extra health for what's coming next in the run here. So we're just quickly taking out these guys. Found a little reinforced bone mace. Would have been nice to have earlier, so I wouldn't have had to buy the bandit weapon, but no big deal. Count a little 75% rogue. This is really nice. You're always looking for good blood in this specific run. And just, I mean, obviously in general, but you really want to get something like rogue. Even movement speed from rogue is just really, really useful to be able to dodge and avoid things. Even high creature blood is really nice.
looking a little.
So we're going to aggro Keely. Because she's a boss, the aggro won't aggro the patrols. If I had hit the patrols, then she would have aggroed as well, I believe. But because I just hit her, I'm just good to go here. So I'm just kind of baiting her over here and just doing it. You can see how much more damage I do when I'm on level with her than being level 10 to her 20. I mean, it's just so much faster. So, I mean, just taking that little second since we needed the upgrade anyway, do this, it's just really nice. And so right now I'm not trying not to aggro that patrol because I don't really want to deal with him right now. But I think I end up doing it anyway because I'm like, I just don't care. So, we're just hitting all this stuff. Keely. A lot easier on normal mode, if you haven't noticed. So you don't really have to... you don't have to worry about anything. The instant freeze when she comes out of stealth, or out of stealth. You don't have to worry about the super... This is a weird situation here, by the way. She like ran to the wall. This has been happening a lot to me recently. I don't know about you guys. She like ran to the wall and then just re-aggroed without healing herself. She just like walked away and then was like, hey, I'm coming to fight you now. And it was just very bizarre, but whatever. All right, killed everybody there, and we got another Unsullied Heart there. I actually missed the one down below. I just realized there was an Unsullied Heart down below as well. Makes me very sad. Also, I didn't pop my Brewer Ferocity like an idiot. Yeah, there was an Unsullied Heart down there. That would have been nice to see, but definitely missed it. That's okay. No big deal. We didn't have to go hunting this time around, so it was no big deal. Right now I'm just looking for as much leather as I possibly can. So far, if you are a veteran of this game, this run probably looks very familiar. Like, this is like, okay, you're just putting some, like, normal early strats together, where you can go, like, you know, to the copper mine, get some early copper, and then, you know, get some planks or whatever. So this is actually, to most people, you're probably thinking this is actually fairly slow. But what this is, I'm trying to get a very strong foundation so that the next part of the run isn't a complete, it just isn't super hard. Right here, I'm just running over real quick to get this TP because I always forget. I've been trying to get that into my mind. Just, hey, make sure you get this TP when you kill Keely, because most of the time I just leave it. And then I end up regretting it later on when I'm trying to kill Bear. So the reason we tossed all that stuff in to our little miniature base, as you can see, was because we wanted to get just enough stuff to be able to get a copper spear. We also have the ability, close this. There we go. Now we need one more. So you can see here, actually, we have enough room to do this. I think you might be able to get the, if you squeeze everything in, you might be able to get that in as well as the tannery, but I could be wrong. So right now I'm just kind of getting rid of everything. We don't really need to refine everything. I just wanted enough to get a copper spear, and then I had enough for one piece of Nightstalker. From there, I was kind of sitting here waiting, and I thought, I'll just start breaking down the base. I realized that, okay, it's not a real PvP server, and maybe in a PvP server, you'd want to keep this up, but you don't even really have to, because if you see somebody come by, you can just take your stuff out of the workbench, and then you're good. Especially because we still have PvP protection. That's another thing to keep an eye on, is the PvP protection. We have an hour on this. I used it kind of as a timer. Obviously, normally 30 minutes is the amount that we're looking at. But we are just going to use that hour to kind of give I was kind of using it as a timer to say, okay, where am I based on the first hour of gameplay? And just see, what I could do there. So right now I'm trying to get these last little bits of things. And there we go. All right, base is gone and it's time to go. So what we're going to do what everybody, we're used to doing. We're going up to get a horse, but this is where things are going to change. By the way, we got a immaterial jewel for Cold Snap. Ridiculously lucky. That's such an insanely lucky find. It's really useful. It's such a useful thing for what we're going to be doing. So we're going to get a horse, and everything so far, like I said, everything probably has seemed fairly standard. Maybe a little bit extra, going to get extra copper, getting a copper spear this early before we get our horse, that kind of thing. But trust me, this is where things are going to change. Real quick note here. Whenever you're running out to get your horse, make sure you hug the left side here, and you wait until you get this TP unlocked right there. And once you get that TP unlocked, then cross over the street. A lot of times if you're hugging the right side, you'll actually miss that TP. And that TP is very important. If you're in a situation where you lose a horse, somebody kills you, or maybe you just jump off to do something and somebody comes and like yoinks your horse, it is so useful to have that specific TP, to have these little these horse spawns here. You can just instantly just find the closest TP, teleport over, and jump and grab one of these horses, and you're good to go. All right, from here, this is where things are going to obviously blow your guys' mind or start to be a little bit crazy. So we're going to be heading north instead of south to make our base. Normally, in this normal run that you've seen so far, the next step after getting a horse would be going down and basing and kind of finishing off Farbane. But actually, there is a very, very good strat. A lot of people very likely don't know this strat, so I'm probably ruining it for a lot of people who do know this strat. And you're going to be very sad that I'm sharing this. You're just getting this TP real quick. But, so what is the best thing we can do? How do we hit level 50? What do we need? Well, the first thing we need is iron ingots. And that is what we're going to get right now. We are actually going to head up to the Cursed Forest. Right now, at level 24. We have a decently fast horse, which is really nice. But with the advent of 1.0, instead of having to run all the way through the normal entrance to Cursed Forest, which is by was it Gracefall Village, I believe the actual name, it Werewolf Village. It was what I call it. Everybody calls it that. Instead of having to run through the normal Cursed Forest entrance by Werewolf Village, we can actually just run into Mortium and go in the back entrance. And honestly, this is just so nice to be able to do this. And the only thing we're really watching out for in Mortium with a horse this fast, even like a averagely fast horse, 9+, all we really care about the most is Silverlight patrols. We don't want to run into Silverlight patrols. So that's why I'm not really staying on the roads, because they stay on the roads. So I'm kind of just trying to run, through everything here, crossing the little frozen lakes, and stay off the road as much as I can. You can see here we have a Draculan patrol. Kind of spooky, but not really a big deal. And from here, we are running into Cursed Forest. And we are going to take advantage of a very busted change that came to this game not that long ago. So this is actually, obviously, this has been in the game since Gloomrot, this TP over here. Cursed villages have been in the game for a very long time, but this is why it's very, very busted. So Silverlight has a chance to drop iron ingots, and you've seen me do that in the run with Coda, where I just kind of went to Silverlight and oof, there we go, dodge all this. Went to Silverlight and got some iron ingots. What I'm doing here, by the way, I'm running double counter. Double counter makes this so much easier. That's why I don't like to do the Dunley Lumber strat into this, because if you don't have I was trying to do that. I did it once and it was really nice. But if you don't have double counter because you didn't kill Keely, this is so much harder. Oh, it's so scary. So we're going to drop all this. Trying to freeze everybody. Don't want to get killed if we can avoid it. It's not that big a deal. Grab another thing there. The silver is really a dangerous part. Ooh, almost died to that. I just realized. Yeah, because the silver will actually kill you if your HP hits 1. So we are at 8 silver at the moment. Or sorry, 8 silver. 8 iron ingots at the moment. And I think we just got, what is it, like 12 or something like that. So I'm almost dead. Here's a little error I made. So I'm running away and I come up here to break aggro. And I'm like, okay, so we got 16 iron ingots already. By the way, 16 iron ingots from that village. And from here, I was like, all right, what are we going to do? I'm like, I need to get rid of some stuff, because the problem is I don't want this situation where I'm like looting the containers and I'm not able to clear them out by pressing Q, because then I have to like press another button press to then like quickly press a defensive key. So that can be a disaster. You can die. I've done that a lot. So I'm trying to get rid of things I don't really need. But here's the mistake I made. So I started healing. I was like, I'm just going to heal up real quick. I realized after I got to 100 HP, or yeah, 100% HP, I was like, wait a minute. I can just unstuck here. So the thing that's so busted about this farm, whenever you die, you can spawn at a waygate. So what you do is you just die to, if you die to one of those enemies in the cursed village, you just spawn at this waygate, and the curse of the forest is actually 0 whenever that happens. So you can just, go and do that. You can just go and run back, keep going. So right here, I realized, like, I'm an idiot. Why did I do that? I literally could have just unstucked and came back full HP with a little bit of blood loss, and then not even wasted my time doing everything I did. So I just made a little bit of an error there. Minor sun resistance brew. Probably should have used that. Oh, no, that was the recipe. So we're gonna grab the horse, and this is where things get. This is the more difficult cursed village. This one here that we just looted is just risk free in my opinion. Obviously somebody could technically try to like gank you, but obviously right now I still have like within my 30 minutes of PvP protection, so that wouldn't even be an option. If you die, they could steal your bag. That is a possibility. But this is the one where it's just really dangerous. This one is a lot scarier than the other one because we're so far away. You kind of have to wait it out and find an optimal, looting route here. The problem is it all depends on how many banshees there are. It can be really unlucky. So I'm gonna pull this up here. At 16, got hit like an idiot. I saw this chest out here. The freeze from cold snap is so nice. All right, we're already at 20 ingots, and honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably leave at this point, but it's better just to stay as long as possible. You're trying to reduce the amount of farming you have to do later. Luckily, you got that counter off. And we're just going. We're at 24 ingots. Going to the next house. There we go. Get this. Managed to get this much. That one. We have a little bit of silver. Like I said, it's super annoying having silver because it just slowly burns you down. Trying to get this last bit here. We're at 32 iron ingots. So good. Get this far. I think I almost get out here. And I die right here. And so 36 iron ingots. Huge deal. So obviously, like I mentioned, in a normal run, this is really risky because if somebody's, in the village as well, or they try to like aggro things onto you, or maybe they just like you died and you're running back, but they caught that tiny little bit of time in between, they could technically yoink your bag and have the biggest bag ever this early on in a wipe. But it's okay. Look, it's going to happen. You're going to die, especially as you're learning how to do this. You're going to die a lot. Learning to juggle the aggro of 50 guys whenever you can't see and they kill you in one hit is not easy. But with double counter, definitely makes it a lot easier, especially with cold snap. You can freeze them and just give you that a little bit more extra breathing room to kind of get to safety. But luckily what we're going to do here, we're actually going to just take advantage of our wolf form. Jump over here. Not really worried about these guys because we can just jump over these fences. Even if they see us, it doesn't really matter because we can just jump like this and jump like this. And this is right at the front of the building, so we grab it. I pressed Q here accidentally because I didn't actually mean to. I tried to do something to drop something. I pressed the wrong button. I was like, that was stupid. Just spear queuing in the middle of Cursed Village, like a idiot or a Giga Chad. You be the judge. All right, and we are gonna leave. This is so this is why I mark the cave just in case you end up having. Just in case you end up getting lost here. I got stuck on this stupid rock, which is really annoying. And we barely get out. We barely get out in time. But we do. All right, so this is the next part of the strat. Really quickly, we jump off the horse here. Before we base, you can see our timer is 32 minutes of PvP protection, which means you have 2 minutes of regular PvP protection. This was a mistake. I jumped down, and I was like, oh, I got it. And then I realized this was going on. I was like, oh, shoot. And I dodged one, but didn't dodge the other one. Almost died. If that were to happen, that'd be really sad. But if I died, I probably would have just spawned on the Cursed Forest TP. And then tried, and then just like ran back and taken the cave again. But super scary. I get a little bit of HP here. I'm like, I'd rather not die instantly. What we're trying to do is get about 320 sulfur. We need 320 sulfur ore because we need to have 16 sulfur, refined sulfur to be able to make a smithy to make our iron weapons. So right now I was like, once you come out of that Cursed Forest cave, you might as well just take advantage of it and get just enough sulfur that you won't have to come in here again. So try not to die to this boss. Luckily we're at actually decent level. Clive being 30, he can't really one-shot us this much, I would imagine. There we go, 360. I was like, okay, cool. 360 is good. There's a rogue here I was trying to keep in mind. I was like, maybe I grab that. 90% rogue would be nice. And I was like, nah, I just got to get a bit. So, oh, by the way, if you end up not... I almost died to that spear that guy just threw. If you end up not... If you're trying to just run out, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing because obviously there's a lot of risky things involved. But what I'm trying to showcase in these runs and these strats is basically just give you ideas. Give you an idea, give you some motivation for your next fresh wipe, for a next server that you're doing a run on, whether it's an established server, a fresh wipe server, whatever it may be. to give you an idea about like what's even possible. I guarantee you there are things, if you're new to this game or you're relatively new, even if you're a veteran, I guarantee you there are things that you just have no clue exist. There's so many strats that even I know I don't know about. There's so many things people do, and things like squads, duos, that kind of thing. I've heard like money strats where people rush money like crazy so they can buy recipes as fast as possible to like max themselves to a specific level to be able to clear the game. I've seen all kinds of different strategies, but yeah. So that's why I'm showing this. If you don't have to do this exact strategy, but just giving you the idea that the concepts exist should hopefully inspire you to create some absolutely crazy. But anyway, we're gonna base really quickly. We are just quickly basing, like I mentioned, even though this is a normal run, I wouldn't have to do this normally. So normally I would just have like, if I was just by myself here, I just wouldn't have to close off my base. But I figured, you know what, I probably should. Our PvP protection would have just now worn off. I would say we'd probably be safe in this situation. You know, it's not a big deal unless somebody came to this exact base plot to come fight us. And whenever we had 30, you know, the 30-minute protection just wore off. It wore off like right as we set foot inside here. Unless there's somebody coming specifically trying to kill us at this base plot, I'd say that you're very likely going to be safe. I'm cutting down every single thing that I know is going to block the foundations. Whenever I try to block this whole thing off, we're trying to secure the entire base plot, make sure that no one can horse jump into it. Trust me, secure your base. There we go. Super fast clicking. Get it all done here. So we're just gonna, I'm going as fast as I can here. Like, man, I'm just like wasting, I feel like I was just taking too long here. Like, where did I put this stupid thing? All right, so from here, I'm trying to think of what I need to put in there. I'm like, oh, I need to start refining leather immediately. I actually should have done that faster. Tossed down a heart and just started refining before I started securing the base would probably have been a better idea. Getting the sulfur going. Sulfur takes a while. It takes a minute to do, like per sulfur, whenever you don't have it in an enclosed room. So that's one reason why I wanted to get that done ASAP, because we already have 36 iron ingots. And we just don't want to get in a situation where we're just sitting here, standing here, twiddling our thumbs, waiting for sulfur or whatever it may be to refine, so that we can do the thing we want to do. And again, we're just doing a quick basing. We're just doing our little base stuff here, getting some planks, getting our initial things down. And again, so while we have a little bit of time here, this is where I just wanted to mention, if you're a duo, why this strat is just so absurd. The answer is the container farm. Containers respawn every like 5 to 7 minutes. So in a duo situation, what you can be doing is having 2 speedrun strats at once. You could have somebody just go and kill, you know, Wolf Keely, and then just go up and grab iron ingots and take the cave down and do that. Oh, by the way, I dropped my bag there because if you didn't know, it'll last for a very long time. I think it's like 45 minutes whenever you drop that bag. And if you don't want to put things inside of chests, just drop your inventory in a bag, and you won't have to worry about it despawning right away. So I just did that because I was like, let me get some refinement going, and now let me get out of here. So again, we're at 27 minutes left on that PvP protection. We're 33 minutes into the game, into the wipe here. And I am now 33 minutes in. I'm going to kill Bear. Now this is, like I said, it's a little bit, just a little bit behind. If you were full-on Quincey speedrunning, it's about 20 minutes. So we're about 10 minutes, 13 minutes or so behind that from like this point right now. So obviously like the Quincey clear is going to be about 20 minutes or so slower than like the world record strat or the speedrun strat for Quincey. But again, I'm not really concerned about that, because my thing about the Quincey clear, as nice as it is, it's kind of like a now what situation. You know, you kill Quincey and then you're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I made a mistake here. I was like, oh, let me just drop. I usually jump off my horse here, but recently I've been running over to put my horse and park it up on this ramp so that when I'm done killing Bear, I can just instantly grab it instead of running back and wasting time. We're gonna kill bear here. This is obviously he's super high level compared to us, but it is so easy with a copper spear. I mean, just look at the damage that we end up doing here. What am I, like 13 levels lower or something, or like 12, 11 levels lower, and I'm just not concerned. Just learn how to space your weapon usage, or your ability usage. Look at this dodge. This is actually easier to dodge now than it was pre 1.0. It makes me laugh. His stomp is now like just not dangerous in any way. Dash behind him, hit him, and watch this. Strafe once. Just literally just sidestep it, and you're good. Yeah, but with Spear, which just does so much damage because it has bonus damage to creatures, that he just melts. Again, we're full health. Kind of just hitting him. Strafe that, no big deal. If you don't know how to fight Ferocious Bear, don't worry about it. It's really easy. Just, if you don't know how to fight it under leveled anyway, it's super easy. Even on brutal mode, it's really not that bad. The bears are annoying. They are annoying. They definitely can be annoying, and the fight will take a little bit longer because you have to usually deal with them. But honestly, it's not that bad. And we're just whittling him down here. Keep in mind, I dropped my inventory before riding over here. I'm not picking up anything that can stop me from being teleported. So I don't want to pick up things like whetstone, coarse thread, or anything like that. I want to be able to teleport as fast as possible. The reason for that is what happens after Quincey. So we just grabbed our air. Super nice. You can see where we are now. And I don't have anywhere to teleport. I was like, I feel like unstuck here. And I was like, no, I want my potions, honestly. I want the vermin salves. I was like, I probably shouldn't have brought them with me. I probably should have left them in that bag instead of bringing them. But I just don't want to lose them. I don't want to lose the vermin salves. I was thinking of unstucking to a TP, like to the TP as fast as I could. Or like riding a horse over to one. And then I was just like, is there like a play to be made here? But there's not. And so from here, I'm like, I don't need an extra miner's mace. Normally I could devour that for silver coins, but I was like, I'm not going to be using silver coins this round, so I'm just going to drop it. Yep, we're just riding over to Quincey here. And from here, just taking the quick route here. Something to keep in mind, I was also worried about the sunlight. So I'm actually very comfortable fighting Quincey even in the daytime on normal mode. I've just done it so many times that I know how to do it. But I highly recommend not doing it in the daytime if you can avoid it. Obviously, it just depends on what the time is when you get there. But man, is it annoying to deal with in the daytime. But I was like, I'm confident in doing it, so I don't really mind. My blood was running low, and I was like, man, hopefully there's something nice over with. I was like, I wonder if there's going to be something nice at the gate here. Right with the gate before I break it down. And when you know it, the RNG gods smile upon us. And as you can see here, 100% warrior. I was like, whoop, okay, I just need to make sure I don't kill it. Even though I'm at such a high level, I was like, I don't kill it, but also don't die. And then the sun starts burning me. I start getting hit by the brute. I'm like, no, please don't. Like, I have to kill it. I don't want this to go wrong here. I kill so many high-level bloods. But we clutched it out. So, yeah, we dropped the whetstone. Even though we need it, we dropped it. I just didn't. I'm like, no, I'm going to have to TP right after this. 100% warrior is a ridiculously good find. Obviously, move speed is really important. We got another... By the way, you got an unsullied heart from that. Just FYI. I was like, what? Okay. That makes up for the one we lost at Keely, or we didn't pick up at Keely. Because we're dumb. But yeah, 100% warrior is just so nice. Obviously, the move speed from rogue is definitely more valuable. Like move speed, crit, damage, all that. Really strong. But warrior is just so much damage and so tanky. That I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to take warrior, I might as well take 100%. Because that's really hard to top. So we're just going to do this little route here. We ride all the way to the back. Parry the sun a few times. No big deal. Right? Wait for our aggro to drop. I'm like, okay, just give it a second here. And we are setting up for Quincey here. So I'm going to show you how to go. Oh, by the way, look at this. I went up the stairs. I was like, oh, look, a rogue. Is that a red aura on that rogue? And I see it. And I click on it. I'm like, that's a 95% rogue. And actually, I was like, man, I would have taken that over 100% warrior, but then I was like, there's literally no way I can even do this, so I'm just going to kill it. But it sucks. I'm like, there's no way for me to get that guy away from Quincey without just dying, so... okay, so here's the strat for dealing with the sunlight, in my opinion. You use this wall here, because these little things that explode on the ground, that when he slams his shield slam on the ground, they won't go through these walls. So you kind of break them, and you have to use this, and you kind of like, you alternate going from this side here back to the other side. You use the shadows of that little wall there. And then when he does it again, right here, you just kind of, you can just walk into this little spot over here. Because the aftershocks on the ground will disappear once they hit that wall, so it makes it a lot easier. Also, there's a tree at the back of that little nook, and if that tree comes down, it actually makes it really, really nice as a little spot you can kind of just hide in there. And he's already starting to dash at us, so we just have to dash through that. Take our time here. We're not really in a rush, especially because nighttime is coming. So we just want to make sure we deal damage and we just don't get hit by stuff like that. Just don't get hit by stupid things. Again, on brutal mode, I would not recommend doing this on brutal mode at this level. You know, if someone out there can do it, props to you. I would be very impressed. In fact, I'm sure it's possible. I don't doubt that in any way. It's just this fight is so crazy on brutal mode because it's not even that he is crazy. He is crazy. He's way harder on brutal mode. The problem is that instead of summoning these little net dudes, it summons the spear guys. And these guys, the trappers and the spear guys, are actually on level with Quincey. They aren't the level they normally are when they spawn. You know, say they're like normally like 35 or 32 or whatever, or level 30. They're actually Quincey's level, which means they do more damage and have way more HP and have more scaling. That's the biggest problem. They scale. So like, if you just start spawning those the spear guys, and it's like like, oh man, you spend all your time trying to kill them. And he's just so dangerous that it makes it feel almost impossible. And we're just slowly whittling him down here. We've seen a lot of Quincy's. Oh, arousing battle. We dash. We let him dash at the silhouette twice, and then we just strafe. And we're good. Not even close. Being dangerous. Now that we can't counter his Merc charge, you kind of have to do it that way. Just you have to rely fully on strafes.
Show me what you got.
Right. Show me what you got. And he just keeps going. I was like, man, I was expecting him to summon a guy, and he didn't summon for like a while. And I was like, that's a little weird. I hope he doesn't rousing battle me here. And then he summoned the guy. I was like, oh, cool. And then he instantly rousing battle. I was like, whoa, okay, well, I'm glad I paid attention because that could have been really bad. He's low. I'm like, I really want to kill him, but I just don't want to get in a situation where I'm stupid and let this trapper catch me, and he just deletes me because I don't have a dash or something. So I was like, I'll just finish off the trapper. And so far, fairly clean fight here. I think we're like, yeah, we're 13 levels below him. As impressive as this probably is, it's really not even that big of a deal. Generally, the speedrun Quincey strat is like, you kill him at level like 20. So you just have like a reinforced bone spear, and that's all. Okay, here comes the stupid part. Look at this. I almost die. Because as I'm sucking his blood, I was like, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Because I realized that it was 4 stacks of that aftershock all in one spot. As I'm sucking the blood, I was like, I'm going to die. Like, for no reason, I'm about to die right now. And then luckily I parried just enough to survive. I was like, oh, okay. That was terrifying. And from there, we're actually going to take Chaos Barrage. Merc Charge, obviously super nice for PvP. We're taking Chaos Barrage for some stuff later on. It's just so ridiculously good at PvE. I'm like, I was like, I'm just going to take this to speed things up. And from here, we're taking the TP, not back to our base. We're going back up to Cursed Forest because we have to get the last few iron ingots. We need a total of 44. If you get 44 iron ingots, that is enough to make a smithy and make an iron weapon with no forged floors. Just one iron weapon. So all we're looking for, we had 36 when we left. I was like, okay, we had 36. All I need is like 8. But, oh, of course, we get unlucky and get nothing but silver coins there. Gonna keep going. Looking for chests. Chests are really nice. They have a really high chance to drop stuff. Drop ingots or whatever. I actually just picked up... I saw that tier 3 jewel that was red. I almost died here. It was very sad. I was like, I need to drop this before I die to the silver. And that was a bloodright jewel. I'm like, dude, that is crazy lucky. And so I died there because I knew I had 1 HP. And if that silver ticked too much, I was actually just going to die to it. So I was like, get it out of my inventory before it kills me. But yeah, it killed me anyway. But that's not a really big deal because we actually just got enough. I believe we got the last 8 that we needed. Iron ingots. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our horse and just ride over there from the backside. And grab our bag and get out of here. And we are 45 minutes in. Just keep that number in mind. We are 45 minutes in. To the wipe or to the run. Looking pretty good. This is that nice little bloodright jewel. I was like, ooh, that is super good. Daggers and everything. So we actually ended up getting, instead of getting just the 8, we got 16 ingots. Now, if you want to, and you want to go loot the other village, you can. If you want to like shoot for multiple things, you can. Here was really annoying. I forgot. I was like, oh, there's 2 of them, and they're gonna kill me 1 hit. So I just had to do this, and then I was like, freeze them and leave. I probably could have come back after the de-aggroed and try to grab my horse, but I was like, it's just not worth it. Every time I've tried to do that, when it's in a weird position like that, I just get in big trouble. So I was like, I'll just run with my wolf form. I'm not too far away. My base isn't too far away. So we got that 16 iron ingots. For some reason, my brain was telling me that that was actually enough to get... Got hit by a stupid arrow there. I'm like, no, come on. Get me out of here. There's that jewel, the dagger jewel at work. Imagine having a tier 3 jewel this early on in the wipe. You're like, that's good, you know? A good tier 3 jewel this early on would be crazy. But yeah, for some reason my brain was telling me that 16 iron ingots here was actually enough to get 2 iron weapons, and I was like, ooh, nice. But then, you know, the math worked out that, you know, I was wrong there. Grab my bag real quick before it disappears. Grab our sulphur here. Here's another issue. We actually didn't have enough blood, and I was like, I don't want to take too much out of my heart. I was like, that just would not be a good idea. And so I tossed all this in, started working my greater blood essence, got the planks back in, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to go get some. We're gonna have to get some blood essence. So I was like, maybe there's something up in my base that I can kill that will give me like a decent amount. And unfortunately, there wasn't too much up here. Again, there's just so much to juggle that whenever you're really quickly going through and, you know, killing as much as you possibly can, or getting like the iron ingots and playing things in a very specific order, a lot of times you end up not having things that you would normally just have tons of. You know, normally at this stage, we're killing so many little bandits and enemies and loose and creatures that like we have more than enough, you know, blood essence most of the time. But right now, unfortunately, we don't have a lot. So we had to take advantage of the local camps. So I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna kill some of that. And again, if you're a duo, like I mentioned, this would be so crazy because you probably have already done like 3 runs up to Cursed Forest, and you probably have enough iron ingots to do multiple things, but you know, to make multiple iron weapons. But there's actually another strategy that you can do with this. If you are in a duo, you can have one person do what I did, where you go Keely and you go up to Cursed Forest and get the iron ingot that you need. You have one person do that. And you can actually send the other person instead, if you want to be really cool, you can send the other person to actually kill Leandra. So that was another strategy that I was working on. I was trying to decide how the best way to approach level 50 was, and I was like, maybe it's, you know, I was like, I wonder if I can kill Leandra super early. Like, how early can I do that? And it turns out you can kill. I can kill Leandra fairly consistently at level 27. So copper weapon, full Nightstalker. I can in a blood ring. I can kill Leandra. And the thing about that is you only need 16 iron ingots to do that. And on top of that, and then you need 12 total Scourge Stones. And a little bit of gem dust, which is super easy to get. And the thing about that's crazy about that is the artisan table, you only really need a handful of, like, you don't actually need the artisan table until once you have your scourge pendant. You don't need it anymore. So you build it, and then you make your scourge pendant, and then you just dismantle it to get your 16 iron ingots back to work back towards your smithy. So really, really nice strat there, especially if you're early on and you're as a duo. Just use those iron ingots quickly. You know, send somebody up to get iron ingots, Anchor's first village. Send the other person over to kill Leandra, and then come down, or then go to like Dunley Monastery, get your scourge stones, make a scourge stone pendant, you know, with the artisan table, and then delete it, make a smithy, make your iron weapon, and then you just like massively increase your speed. So while everything's refining and stuff is going on there, I was like, you know what, I should probably start getting more planks and more things, because I just was not farming the, you know, the bare necessities here. So we just wanted to make sure we were getting that. I'm like, okay, well, what are we looking at on this axe? So yeah, we are 50 minutes in, and we are, you know, just waiting for this axe to refine. So far, pretty insane to think about that 50 minutes and you have an, you know, pair of iron axes. We also have our, you know, technically also have enough here. I was like, oh wait, I have enough leather to do this. I was like, I forgot, I haven't made this yet. So yeah, we're gonna have about 50 minutes in, and maybe 51-ish, you know, however many, not that much in, and we're gonna have full Nightstalker and an iron weapon. So pretty wild. So here's our iron weapon. Pretty ridiculous, you know, level 30 there. And then I'm just making sure all our stuff's, you know, while everything's refining here, I'm like, let me just make sure everything is where it should be. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna track Lidia real quick, because I actually need you either need a grinder to grind gems, or you need a whatever it's called, or you need a devourer to get to destroy jewels. And that was the thing. I was like, oh wait, you know, I should probably go kill her real quick. And so I saw a nearby tractor, and it said nearby. I was like, oh cool, like that means she's not that far away. Well, it turns out she was actually fairly far away, and I was like, she patrols down here, so I bet she's down this way. And sure enough, she was. But you'll see just how easy it is to kill her, not only on level, but with iron weapons. Just so much easier. I mean, imagine having to, you know, not kill Lidia at level 10. You just kill her on level with iron weapons.
Think on your feet.
Makes life very easy. I'm like, oh, avoid these, and I realized, I was like, wait, I'm on level. I can just walk into these, and it's not going to do anything. I'm like, I'm going to out-heal them. That's pretty nice. So, killed Lidia again. It's nice to be able to have move speed, or like power surge or whatever. It is really nice to have that. But this is specifically for the Devourer, because I am going to have to use that at some point. Got a little bit of gem dust just in case we get in a situation where we need to, you know, have it and not, maybe we don't want to get rid of the jewels or whatever it is. Just grab some gem dust there. And we're running back to base. So we are 53 minutes in. And I believe it's like, you know, yeah, 53 minutes in. I think 54 by the time we got to base and get all our stuff. And at 54 minutes, we have full Nightstalker, a blood ring, and an iron weapon. So that is pretty crazy to think about. So let's just go ahead and come in here and grab that. And here we are. Just look at that. Level 33, and we are cruising. And from there, we are off to the next part of the run. So now that we have our iron axes, it's actually a very easy next part of the run here, or next move, I guess you would say, which is to go up back to Dunley Farmlands and get our Scourge Stone Pendant going. Now, one thing I did mention a little bit earlier was that if you were playing with a duo, this right here would be a lot easier. So first things first, I'm just running up here to grab a horse. Definitely important here, just because I lost the other one, which is again why this TP specifically is just so nice to be able to run in here really quickly, grab a horse, and then just hit the TP again. So like I said, if you're running a duo, you can actually split up between the iron weapon and the Scourgestone pendant and get to the point where you can actually get both relatively the same time, where, you know, on the one hand, one person is going and focusing on getting the iron and killing Quincey and doing all of that, where the other person is coming up here to kill Leandra. Leandra is definitely tricky. Once you understand how to deal with the fight, it's not that bad. But we're going to be cheesing this fight specifically because it's just, look, if it's in the game, I'm going to use it until they fix this, because it's just such a silly mechanic that, to me, I'm like, you know, you might as well just take advantage as you can. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually looking for chests, just seeing if there's anything I can, that's an easy grab that may have Scourge Stone inside of it. And so just in case, you know, that way we don't have to worry about it. And this is one reason why I got Chaos Barrage, was specifically for this fight here, just doing a little bit extra damage, even though we're so under leveled that it's really not going to do all that much. I did see there was 3 chests on the back, which just seemed kind of ridiculous. So we open with the Chaos Barrage, do a nice little bit of damage here, and we're just gonna make sure we can get every one of these before we go right here behind this pillar. And so what we're doing is we're cycling our weapons, using our auto attacks. So keep in mind, if you're doing this with the iron axes, you can kill the little shadows that she summons with one hit, just one regular primary attack. Whereas with a spear, with a copper spear, which is another way you can do it, you have to hit them twice, which makes it a little bit tighter timing. So what I'm doing here is I'm standing in this corner here, and I'm trying to basically get behind her where possible and keep her in one spot so I can manage what is going to hit me, what's not going to hit me. Because it's really confusing whenever she's around the little flaming pillar thing, and if you kind of just assuming something's not going to hit you or something is, you know, it makes it really difficult. So here what we're doing is we're waiting for 4 summons. We kill 4 of them. After the 4th, we dash away because she's going to respawn and then fear. So you do not, it doesn't matter what's going on otherwise, you do not want to get hit by that fear, because you can get chained and killed instantly if she fears you. And again, just trying to get everything here. You can use the little flame altar to dodge projectiles as well if you want to. It just, for me, it makes it easier with the shadows that she summons. It makes it a lot easier if they're kind of all right in front of you, so you know they're coming. So here's the 4th. We're going to dash away again, wait for her to respawn, then there it is. And we're just being really careful. She's super low. I mean, there's just pretty much no way we're going to lose this. We're just going to keep, you know, just hit her a couple more times here, even though everything gets absorbed by the walls, but we are good to go. So now I'm tracking how many Scourge Stones we have. I believe we had like 5 at home or something like that, 5 at our base. So we just wanted, I'm just trying to keep, you know, keep an eye on that. Also making sure we have those unsullied hearts. I hit these and then I realized, oh wait, none of these actually have Scourge Stone anyway. And I was like, that gold chest down there, I could fight my way to it, but to me, there just isn't really a point, because I could fight my way to it and get nothing, you know, you get nothing that matters. And so I'm like, is it really worth the risk to get a potential some Scourge Stones or whatever that we're going to need? Or would it be better just to get guaranteed by going to Dunley Monastery, which is what we're going to do now. Also, by the way, if you don't feel comfortable doing that strat behind the altar, the wall there, you can actually just horse lorder the old school way. It takes a little bit longer. You have to be a little bit more cautious, but it's honestly just as easy. And to me, it's significantly easier even, because, I mean, all you're really doing is just running around in circles and hitting her with a spear. And then the moment that you actually have to, the moment that she, you know, if you get hit or whatever, you know, I know you have to take it really, you have to do a lot of wide turns and just take your time a lot. And I was checking a different horse here because 9.7 wasn't really that fast. I was like, maybe I'll try to get a faster one. But yeah, so now we're heading over to Dunley Monastery. I wanted to get like the TP for this one as well. But we just wanted to make sure, or we just want to go over there and get the last few Scourge Stone that we needed to make our pendant. And keep in mind, that a lot of the stuff normally we would want to keep. A lot of the stuff we can get rid of. Also, something to note, if you can't get Scourgestone, or you come over here and there's nothing here, there is a play to be made by killing Grayson really quickly and getting Whetstone and turning those Whetstone and combining them with the grave dust that you've got, that you found from Church of the Damned and all of the cursed villages, and just making the last few Scourgestone that way. So that is another play you can do, because technically if you killed Leandra, you can make Scourgestone right away. As long as you have one furnace, regardless of what level you are, you can make that Scourgestone. So just keep that in mind as well. So we're just riding up here, and I know we had 5 at home at our base, so I knew we didn't have to do all of these. I just had to get to like the right number. I think at this point I was like, oh, I think we have 11. We just had to hit one more tomb here. Obviously, if you want to hit all of them, feel free. But for me, I was like, I'm just trying to get out of here. I don't want to really have too much damage from holy damage and have to, heal up. Especially whenever we have this blood here. I didn't want to have to waste that. So I saw this chest. I was like, oh, we'll grab that just in case here. And from here, I was actually trying. It's funny because at this point, originally, it's funny enough, originally I was thinking I was going to do only an iron weapon run. And then when I saw how fast it was, I was like, you know what? I could go and sneak the Scourge Pendant really quickly. Originally I was like, I'm going to make this run a little bit shorter, just do like a fast iron weapon. And then I thought, you know what? Let's just get the Scourge Stone Pendant as well, might as well. And then once I realized that we had it all in hand right now, I was like, you know what? Actually, instead of doing that, why don't we just go for the full level 50 and see how fast we can do it? And so what I was doing here, instead of riding straight back to base, I hit the closest cotton things here, but I didn't want a ton of garlic, so I just kind of hit a few of them and then just was like, all right, let's get out of here. Of course, getting sucked back onto him because, tried to mount the horse, but he was low, so he got sucked. And we're going to keep it going. We're going to hit this one as well, this field over here, the one next to racetrack. These are 2 really quick ones where they're kind of just right off the road. So you just kind of ride really quickly, break the fence, and then just throw axes. This is why it's so good about axes for farming these, by the way. You just throw axes and then just, press Q and you have a bunch of them. A bunch of the cotton all the way. So I figured, I might as well just grab it all. Just make sure we have enough. Last thing we want to do is, not enough, but we have a good start here. But then as I was thinking about that, I realized, I don't want to get more garlic because I want to be able to fight and, go up and kill Beatrice and that kind of thing. So I don't want to have tons of garlic. But also I realized, at this stage, one of the biggest slowdown for Hallowfang is the amount of wool thread you have. If you can't find wool thread, it just takes such a long time. So right as I was headed back to base, I realized, you know what? I'm right next to this farm, and this one's usually okay to have a little bit of wool thread. So I was like, I'm going to get like enough wool thread that I can make a single loom. Basically just start now, because the earlier the better when it comes to wool thread for this kind of farm. It really is. It's just such a big time gate to have to worry about all this. So I started breaking some breakables. Sometimes you can get lucky at this location here specifically. So I already have 2, and I thought, okay, let's kill some guys too. I don't want to spend too long on this. Just in the off chance where I'm sitting and just breaking a bunch of breakables and I don't come out with anything. So I thought, let me just get the low-hanging fruit stuff and then just, get out of here. I was like, I'll kill this one guy, see if he drops wool thread. It didn't, so. But again, my goal was to have enough to make a loom, which is, a loom is 4 wool thread. And then I realized, wait, this spot right here, actually, I believe has wool thread drops as well. In like chests, it's usually pretty good. I kind of just rode in and thought, let me see if I can find something. So sure enough, we found one in that one, which is really nice. And I'm just going around, I'm like, I guess I'll just kill these guys real quick. Double counters, just super nice. Makes everything really, really fast. It's funny because I'm looking at this and I realize I'm actually holding my ult instead of using it to kill them really quickly, because I'm like, oh, it's a habit. I never ult on PvE for the most part, almost ever. Just the off chance that you get ganked on a PvP server, you don't want to get caught with no ult, or just having used your ult and you're just not going to have it for the entire fight. Your ultimate is just such a big. It can be such a big deciding factor, especially if this was like a new run. A lot of people at this stage, you know, we're barely an hour in. A lot of people wouldn't even have had Quincy yet. You know, they're just still working on getting their stuff. And so if you have ult of some kind and they aren't ready for it, you can just win immediately. Especially with like this early iron weapon that we have. Saw we had a creature here, and I realized, man, my warrior blood is going down. So I thought, we'll just take one more quick pit stop and grab this really quickly. Just a nice little creature for some movement speed, damage reduction. Also realized that we were really low on planks, so I just was like, I really gotta start hitting trees and hitting rocks because we're very low on the other material that we need. And we're just heading back to our base really quickly, getting ourselves right at the beginning here. So we're looking to make our Scourgestone Pendant. Now this is where it's really interesting. What's really good about this, I mentioned this about the artisan table, or whatever it's called, the jewel crafting table. I think it's artisan table now. You can just delete your smithy and get your iron ingots, like just get them back real quick, and then throw down the jewel crafting table. And then immediately, if you wanted to, you can just immediately, you know, once the Scourgestone Pendant is, you know, is crafted, just delete the table again, and until a later time where you have enough iron to just have it at all times. So we're just devouring these jewels really quickly. Again, another strat would be using a grinder to grind up some gems. And as nice as it is for me at this stage, I'd rather grind up jewels I don't want, or devour jewels I don't want, because gems can be used for upgraded pendant, upgraded weapons, that kind of thing. And just, even though in this run I don't plan on going higher than level 50, I realized that's just like a thing, you know, I'm like, I'd rather just, you know, keep those gems. A lot of these things are just habits, honestly, where I'm thinking like, I should really make sure I, you know, keep these gems. So we're just hitting some trees, hitting some rocks. Again, just doing our chores. Make sure you're doing your chores. Whenever you have downtime and you're waiting on things to refine or craft, just try to be productive in your use here. You want to get this stuff good, you know, done as quickly as possible. Make sure we have everything that we need. And yep, about to get rid of this ring, which is just crazy to think about. We're barely an hour in, like an hour 6 minutes or so now, and we are already, you know, about to hit a Scourgestone Pendant, and an iron weapon. And honestly, what's crazy about this, by the way, especially in if you're on a duo run, is obviously the next step here is focusing in and getting Hallowfang. But really, if you're confident, there's so many things you can do with these two items. It's crazy. Like, if you're confident about not getting hit. So you think about it this way. Brutal mode, you barely have any HP anyway, right? So like, even though your numbers are normal, everything does so much additional damage that you might as well have no health. So if you're playing on normal mode and you have Hallowfang like this, it's probably going to feel like against other enemies, if you're on level with them, it's probably going to feel like you're just playing on brutal anyway. So you could probably just get away with running just Nightstalker for a while if you'd like. Like, for instance, I would be totally comfortable at this level going and killing Maja, going and killing Meredith and Krieg to get those two spells, Discharge and whatever, getting a recipe that way. I'd be totally comfortable killing Rat and then going to Rat Hole to get reinforced planks. I'd be comfortable with all those things at this level because obviously, again, like I said, you don't have all that much HP. But like I mentioned, on brutal mode, everything does so much damage that I'm kind of used to that right now. That is an advantage. Something you can think about is what exactly do you need to even kill things, right? You don't have to be in exact specific gear on every single situation. In every single boss fight, you can just have whatever is comfortable to clear something. Because you can, like, as you've seen now, we've managed to make some absolutely crazy progress in a very short amount of time, just simply being comfortable with specific boss fights and mechanics of like how, you know, navigating cursed forest and that kind of thing. And from here, I'm just trying to decide what I'm gonna do here. I'm like, oh, should I toss stuff in here? And then I realized, I gotta make a grinder. I gotta make sure I get this going here, because if I forget now, I'm not gonna have any brick, and just in case. So the only reason we really care about brick all that much right now, making sure we have enough, is you actually just want to have enough brick that you can make it's actually a pretty nice little strat here for a loom. The smallest room you can make is a one by one. So the way I like to do that is using staircases. So for instance, I was moving these over because I realized that they were in a weird position. I use staircases. So staircases only cost brick. They don't cost any planks at all. And so I knew I was going to be putting a lot of planks towards looms and the tailoring bench because it's just so many planks. And so I wanted to just minimize the amount of planks I needed. I didn't want to have to sit here farming, more than I needed to. So if you can just farm up enough bricks to build one set of an L-shaped stair and 2 walls, which is obviously that's not that much. If you can farm up just enough for that, then you can actually make a very small enclosed 1x1 to put a loom in to massively speed up your time on cotton yarn. So we're just farming. We're farming. So nice. By the way, the longer you can hold out on building up in these areas, the better, because obviously whenever the castle ruins and the trees just keep regrowing, it's just so many mats. You can get so many so quick. I mean, we've been farming for a few seconds. I'm already at 1,000, a stack of each, which is so nice. I mean, again, the longer you can hold out, the better. Especially if you're on a server where there's going to be raid time soon, obviously you just got to get your stuff raid ready as quickly as possible. But in a situation like this, where I'm really not worried about that, we're just keeping the basic palisade stuff so people stay out of our base, and just letting all that stuff kind of spawn up there as much as we possibly can. So at this point, I needed just a little bit more copper. I knew we just built some copper. I was like, I need a little bit more because the looms take a bunch of copper. So we want to make sure we have enough for that. I like to have at least 2 looms to refine our copper or our cotton. So at least 2, right? So I was like, okay, I need to get just a little bit here. Make sure I'm not, farming too much. Obviously, if you're in a regular run, farm as much as you want. But for me, I thought, let me just farm a little bit of these nodes just to have just enough to hopefully make our looms. So again, we're just trying to do things while we're waiting on other things to not have to sit here and wait. Last thing we want to do is have downtime on our furnaces whenever we don't need to have downtime in our furnaces. We don't want to have downtime. We don't want to have like moments where we're just sitting here like, man, I really wish, you're trying to build a loom, or you're trying to build this or that, and then you realize, oh, I didn't get this. That's another reason, earlier on why after the first Cursed Forest run, I went and got all that sulfur. That right there, if you can think to do stuff like that, okay, before I base, I want to have at least 320 sulfur so that I can make a smithy. Even if you don't even plan on doing this strat, if you have the thought of, I'm going to try to do this so that whenever I need it, it's already done, right? It's not hard to just like quickly go to sulfur mine, or even if you're just riding around and you have a copper weapon, just say, okay, I need at least 320 sulfur at the very beginning. Obviously, you're going to need a ton more later on, and having a ton of it early it's nice, but what exactly are you going to use your sulfur on that early? The only thing, other thing you're going to use it for is like an alchemy bench, which doesn't really matter, or an alchemy table. I mean, it doesn't really matter for early on. Like, it just isn't really. I don't really read my opinion of that. So, but yeah, 320. Just knowing those tiny little, like, there's just a few things where if you know exactly how much it is, then it'll set you up. I want to say now, I could be wrong with this. Maybe my math is off here. But in Gloomrot, the amount of wool threads you needed was at the very least 40. I believe it was, or not 40, it was 36. So you need 8 wool thread per piece of Hallowfang, and then it's 4 wool thread for a loom. And generally, if you like 2 looms, you need 8 wool thread for your looms. So altogether, that works out to be about 40 wool thread. So trying to keep that number in your mind whenever you're out farming, that's another number where you just want to be like, okay, do I, instead of just saying, I hope I have enough, you say, okay, this is the number I need. And here is, where I'm going to get it. Which, speaking of that, right now I'm just kind of clearing this out. Usually it's funny, the normal strat, I'm usually fighting these guys at level 27 or 30 with like a merciless copper spear or something. And I'm like way lower level than them. And it's just, everything is really, it takes a really long time. But for me, the reason this is so nice is it's so easy. Whenever you're level 42 and you have an iron axes already and a scourge stone pendant, it's just so easy. Look at it. We're just walking through, like, we're basically ignoring the enemies in this area here. Just totally ignoring, like, oh, okay, well, we can kill them in 2 hits, so no big deal. Which is obviously a really nice, it's a really nice change of pace. And again, we're just looking for that wool thread. I'm trying to wait for a little bit of nighttime to come down here. So some wool thread there. Yeah, I can't believe we got that Bloodrite Jewel, that tier 3 one. It's so nice because Bloodrite's just such a useful early spell. It's good throughout the entire game, but it's so good early. If you get a really good Bloodrite Jewel, obviously it's really, really good. But getting that jewel was that's crazy. Yeah, so here's where we like Power Surge. One reason I like Power Surge is just it lets you obviously do more damage with Chaos Burn, lets you attack faster. But also the movement speed is just so nice for keeping up with her because she's constantly running around and you're having to like chase her and attack at the same time. Just having a little bit of this movement speed like this just makes that, obviously the fight is just so easy. Especially on normal mode, and especially when you can clean the entire village without even trying beforehand. So, again, I'm still kind of grabbing these unsullied hearts. We don't necessarily need them at this point. The more the merrier, but we don't actually need them for anything else in the level 50 run. Now, admittedly, we do need them for merciless iron weapons and the pendant. Yeah, upgraded pendant. You would need more greater blood essence. So that might be something to, keep in mind if while you're out doing this, as you're looking to progress, just try to keep every unsullied heart you can. Also at level 42, we can totally and completely smoke Tristan, so this would not even be an issue in any way, especially if I got Bone Explosion. But if you want to, you can just go through and you can reset with Altar of Recollection or whatever it's called and get Ward of the Damned and just destroy Tristan without even trying. And we're looking for more wolf thread. Still looking for thread. Just doing everything here. So here's something that will also help you in your runs is knowing like the fastest places to get wool thread or like the easiest and safest places. A lot of these farms all over the place, obviously, these are really nice for it. But one thing we do in just a little bit to get this. Okay, so here's one reason axes are so nice. Look at this. Done. There we go. We missed one. I realized, like, you know what, if I'm going to get garlic, I might as well just get up here. There was nothing else I needed to kill at this point, so I wasn't... Obviously, I don't want to have tons of garlic, but there was nothing else I really needed to kill at this point, so I was kind of like, okay, let me just, take a little bit extra time to loot things to try to get some more wool thread. But again, here's something that you'll run into whenever you're first looking for garlic. If you don't... for cotton, if you're not farming it the way I'm farming it, you'll just come out with 100 garlic. And in this situation, I mean, I'm at 20 something and I'm already almost done. I had to dodge that. The reason I jumped over the wall there is because I saw there was a fire torch guy. I didn't want him to burn all the cotton down, which would just suck really bad. You guys are the bane of my existence. When you jump in to get some cotton and they just burn their whole field instead of you getting it, it's very sad. But yeah, as of right now, I did my math wrong here, I believe. I was like, wait, actually I'm good. I looked at all the cotton I had and I thought, oh, I think I'm actually good to go here because I knew I had some at base. Or I thought I did, but I believe I actually took it with me. So I was like, oh wait, I have like 1100s plus like 300 or so at base. I was like, oh, I think I'm actually good to go here. And so I kind of just left. But then later on, I realized, wait, actually I don't have enough. You need about 1400 cotton, so not including any spare pieces of cotton yarn or cotton thread that you get, whatever it's called. Yeah, cotton thread or cotton yarn. Yes. This is super unlucky here. We went to Dunley Farmers Market hoping for some nice wool thread. A lot of times you can get tons of wool thread here, like a lot of wool thread. I've come out of here with 12 just really easily from some of these boxes here. This side and the other side, including whatever it's called, containers. We were just getting so unlucky to get anything, and I thought, you know what? Well, we really need wool thread, so I might as well just commit here. It's really not that big a deal. I also, the other thing I realized was I'm level 42, and I was like, these guys are not going to one-shot me. Obviously, if I get like stunned by one of the guys, it would suck because I have garlic and I've not a lot of health. If I get hit by one of the chargers, the big guys, shield bros. But I was like, I'm a good level here, and I can just kind of go through and get like this. So I just was like, let's just those guys right there. I was like, let's just keep going. Let's just go through, aggro the whole city. Who cares? Just get all these containers. This house is super important, or super nice for getting wool thread and other items. Just getting all the wool thread we possibly can get. That power surge is a little speed boost is super nice. And again, I was like, I'll just leave now. And I thought, wait, why am I leaving? I really have nothing to worry about. I'm like, I might as well just keep breaking stuff really quickly because they're not going to catch me. And even if most of them do, won't really matter. So I was like, I'll just break a few more. Not too many, but yep. There's the counter, and we're breaking these boxes, running away. All the wool thread we possibly can. We don't want to get hit by that guy from his dash. That would really suck. So from here, I was like, all right, let's just get out of here. And we are pretty good right now. I believe I actually ended up taking the cave, which was probably a mistake. I think it would make more sense here if I were to try to farm just a little bit more. Obviously, like I said, I miscalculated on the cotton. But I think the play was actually just farming a couple more villages. There were a couple more areas just right next to me that I could have gotten more wool thread from. But it ends up not really mattering because one of the best, if not the best place, in my opinion, for wool thread really, really quickly is the werewolf village. So I realized, I was like, oh man, I knew we needed more, obviously. I was like, where can I go that's going to really just quickly give me a boost? And so once I came back, my thought was, I'll just go to Werewolf Village, no big deal. And then unfortunately, I was like, oh man, but I hope that they actually have enough. So you don't necessarily want to bank on that at all times, just having enough, there just being enough items in one POI. So it's probably smarter to just hedge your bets and make sure you're farming consistently. Maximize the efficiency of your farming route. Just having little places in mind where like this is a good spot and just hit that up before you go back. Or, take the couple extra seconds instead of taking the cave. Take the couple extra seconds to just run somewhere else. And we're going back here, just trying to get our cotton refining as quickly as possible. And I think this is the point where I realized very soon here, oh wait, I don't have enough cotton. At least I don't think I do, right? I'm like, I don't think I have enough. And so I quickly just went back up and grabbed a little bit more here. But for now, like, we don't have enough copper. We're gonna need a little bit more. I was like, we might as well get this started. Toss it all in there. I was like, let me get that other cotton. And I was like, wait, I don't have any other cotton. What? I was like, oh no. I'm like, oh, I miscalculated. And I realized, no big deal. If you put that in there, by the way, if you put your wool thread, be careful when you put your wool thread inside of these looms. One of the automatic recipes is, I may not even have it unlocked in this, but one of them is carpet, which is cloth and wool thread. And if you're not paying attention, you do that, you can accidentally come back to your base and have, 250 250 carpets done, and you'll just be sitting there very sad that you just wasted all that, all those resources. And we're just grabbing just a little bit of extra copper here so we can get our second loom. Again, I did that earlier where I was like, I want to make sure I have enough. And then I realized, afterwards, I was like, I don't have enough now. And that's very sad. So, yep, just kind of kicking myself there that I didn't just take the couple extra seconds to run down here to Copper Quarry and just hit a few nodes more so we could get those extra few ingots. And also I believe I realized here, I think I realized that I didn't have enough blood, I want to say. It was here, maybe the one after this. Yeah, this time I'm just going for the cotton, or the copper. Yep. Power Surge makes this very fast. Axe Q makes this very fast. And then here I was like, wait a minute, I can just ult. Might as well just throw these out real quick. Kill everything as fast as I possibly can. Ooh, Power Surge, Axe E, so much damage. Getting that Chaos Burn, especially if you have the increased physical power jewel. Ooh, it hits so hard. I really wish Power Surge still had the old recast. So back in the day in Gloomrot patch, it had a recast ability. So right now it has a recast where you kind of just recast it and there's a little explosion that does damage around you. And unfortunately, it is just so bad. I tried to make it work for a while in V Arena because I was like, maybe people won't expect it. Like they're coming to fight me, because my thought was like, it's an AoE, which means it hits through counters, and so that kind of gives it a little bit of a bonus, a little bit of a benefit in one-on-ones, where you could hit some people, you know, with Power Surge, you're doing some chaos damage, and then right before it expires, you recast it and then like do additional damage. Or if they counter you because you use Power Surge and you're up close and they're like, oh, I'm going to counter him. You like sword Q around them with Power Surge and then like recast it, and then it explodes and does even more damage. I was like, that'll be pretty cool. The issue is it just doesn't work. And you have to understand, whenever you recast Power Surge, it removes the Power Surge. And the thing that makes Power Surge good and these types of buffs good is having a buff on you, right? So if you're removing the buff at will, you're choosing to remove that buff, then the benefit that you get better be worth it, right? It better be something really, really good. And unfortunately, the mediocre damage that you get, it just isn't enough. So for instance, if that recast jewel also gave the ability to, it also did like agonizing flames, right? So if they have the agonizing flames effect is if they have chaos burn and you hit them with the something that has the agonizing flames effect on it, then they'll get engulfed with agonizing flames, take even more damage, and it heals you. And so my thought process was like, well, if that recast did the agonizing flames effect, you could do something where you like pop Power Surge, you're hitting them, then right before it ends, you recast the Power Surge, it removes the buff, but they get agonizing flames, so they're like getting even more damage. It like helps that damage kind of continue, and it heals you. That would be such a cool effect. But it's not there. The old Gloomrot version, I really wish it was still there. It used to be a recast where it would suck enemies to you like a void, like how void does. It would like a void cast anyway. It would suck enemies to you, and I want to say it even interrupted counters, so you could use it as like an anti-defensive tool. So people who are, that's the thing, it's kind of frustrating about the PvP changes in 1.0 is there's so many little things that they've done where they quote unquote fixed jank, right? It's quote unquote fixing it. But the issue is the jank was actually helping to balance some of the mechanics in the game. So by fixing the jank and then not introducing something to balance it, it just I don't know, it just made it a little bit worse, right? So there used to be things where you could, recast things, or like for instance, Ward of the Damned. You used to be able to recast Ward of the Damned, and it would knock somebody back, and it would knock them out of their defensive ability. So like a counter. That used to be really good, but that got changed, so it can't do that anymore. So Ward of the Damned went from having that one unique use in PvP to having basically 0 uses in PvP. So, but yeah, getting back to what we're doing here, we're just looking for more wool thread. I knew that we needed to get that, and I was like, let me just hit these villages really quickly. It was just about daytime, and my plan here was to go to Werewolf Village. So let's go ahead and just hit that up real quick. This is the abandoned farm here. This one's really good. It has a huge chest drop rate. Also, you can kill these those scarecrows. They have a chance to be a real scarecrow to drop like a nightmare version thingy where it's actually like an enemy, and they can drop scourge stones and other kinds of things. So keep that in mind. But that specific abandoned farm is really good for chests and containers. That has 2 containers and it can have like multiple chest spawns. So definitely keep an eye on that one. Also good for plant fiber if you need that really quickly. TP over there and just throw an axie out and get some plant fiber really fast. If you're trying to make pollen into horse thread or something like that. And we're just heading up to Werewolf Village. Gracefall Village, I think is the name. But obviously we all call it Werewolf. In the daytime, obviously there's no point in coming at this level in the nighttime. Just we're looking for wool thread. We're not looking to fight werewolves, so it makes it a lot easier just to make it in the daytime here. All these breakables and the containers just have so much stuff here. This village is really, really good for farming. So if you are not coming up here in your early on in your runs, I highly recommend that you start doing it. Once you have the ability to kill these things pretty easily, it's just so many mats. This is sitting up here. Glass, really good. A lot of cloth, which you need for silk. Just doing like a single farming run through this area. Here I was like, all right, so we have a bunch of them here, and we can actually just hit them with, power surge and everything. Cut them low, and then I was like, wait a minute. I actually can just ult them. So we ult them and kill them. Get some more wool thread. And we're going to keep up. Just breaking everything. There's so many little... Here's in this village too. You can get a lot of recipe books. A lot of good stuff. So, a lot of jewels as well. Tier 2s, I want to say, you can get up here. And as long as you have like a counter, it's in the daytime, it's very free. Just because these guys, obviously, they will actually hit pretty hard if they punch you. If they do punch you at a low level, it will do a lot of damage, but it doesn't. Obviously, it's super easy to avoid because they just have no range. And here's Wilfred. We can just run past him into his house. There's so many containers in here. So this is something that a lot of people don't know about. There's just so many containers in here. 3 containers. You can get chest spawns in here too. I think there's like, I don't even know, tons of chest spawn locations in this house here. Obviously there's some on the outside too. So I was like, I'll grab these before I leave. We definitely had enough stuff. I want to say we were like beyond good to go on our wool thread, but I was like, I'm already up here. Might as well just get it. Why not? Because I knew that the cotton or the yarn, the cotton wasn't going to be refined yet anyway. So, and from here, I was trying to figure out like what would be the fastest way back down, and I realized, you know what, the fastest way is actually just going through Cursed Forest back over to the cave. 10.3 speed horse is pretty much no risk of getting knocked off unless you're at the cave. That would be an issue. Being at the cave itself and getting hit by lurkers, which I was thinking about that too, because in this situation, you already lost the first horse up here because there was like lurkers around the cave entrance. So that was, one of my concerns. I was like, hopefully I don't get knocked off. That would be very sad. But again, like I said, we're going fast enough that even just on the flat ground, there's no issue. I got double counters in case. I was like, if I have to jump off my horse and I need to, get into this cave because I don't have a horse, I want to make sure I have cold snap so I can freeze them in place and then just, take the cave with no issue there, no risk. But yeah, so far this has been a pretty insane run. I mean, seriously, obviously there's a little bit of RNG elements involved. Yeah, almost got knocked off. A little bit of RNG elements involved in some cases. I would say the most RNG that we dealt with was in the villages, the cursed villages. You can have runs, I've had them, where you loot every container and you get 4 iron ingots in one village. Or, maybe you get 8 or something along those lines. I've had situations like that where I just did like a full run on one cursed village and got essentially nothing. But I will say in the case when that happens, something that's so crazy about that strat is you can just TP up there again 5 minutes later and everything will be reset because you're just sitting there, right? Because at this point I realized I really gotta get that cotton before, before I didn't want to be in a situation where the cotton yarn was done refining and I didn't have enough. So I was like, let me just go run really quick. And I made a mistake here too. I thought that it had been long enough that the cotton fields had already regrown. The ones by Beatrice. So I was like, where should we go? I was like, I'm going to go down this side over here. And I went down to the south one. I should have gone to the north one because I remembered afterwards. I was like, I never got that third field because I thought I was good. So we run up to this one really quickly to see. And I was like, okay, I think I should be able to get this cotton over here. And then I look and it wasn't even regrown yet. And I was like, that is unfortunate. I just wasted all my time running this way. So I saw that it wasn't regrown there. So I was like, okay, well, if that's not regrown, that means that the other one isn't regrown. So first I was like, maybe I'll just run off the backside and go this way and go over to the one across Iron Mine. But then I realized that it would be really annoying. So the thing about cotton is you can teleport with it. And so I was like, nah, maybe I'll just go this way. I'm running this way. I'm like, I'll just go to the third farm, the one I never looted. And it turns out the third farm is right next to that TP anyways. So I was like, I just wasted my time. Could have just taken that TP, ridden up, and gotten the cotton and left. But anyway, getting back to the RNG discussion. So yeah, the thing that's so strong about this strat, I actually don't know. I don't know if it should be in the game. I don't know. I like that it's in the game. I like having crazy strats, but I also understand it's good to have spots where like high values of iron ingots drop pretty consistently. This is gonna make, if you're like comfortable with Cursed Forest stuff, this strat is going to absolutely break your early runs wide open if you're not using this. I mean, just imagine, again, like I said, imagine you're in a duo or even like a squad, and one person in the squad goes up here, gets iron. One person goes over, gets a Scourgestone Pendant recipe. One person kills rat and goes like rat hole and starts farming reinforced planks. And the other person does like the basic progression. And in like 30 minutes, you have like enough mats for an iron weapon, enough mats for a Scourgestone Pendant, and the Scourgestone Pendant recipe is basically pretty much unlocked. You have a good base location, and you're working on like reinforced planks and stuff, right? Or even if you don't go rat hole, if you just go to whatever it's called, up to Werewolf Village in the daytime, and you're just farming wool thread, you're farming glass, that kind of thing. Even if you're doing stuff like that, like or container farms in Dunley, there's just so many things you can do with that. And splitting up in that first little bit of PvP protection to make crazy stretch, which I really, really like, but I don't know if it's, no. I feel like, because obviously, like, if you know these cool strats, it's really helpful. Also, the strat is really risky. I will admit that. It's a very risky strategy. We're definitely looking at something that's not going to work if multiple people are going after it at once. You're going to have a lot. You can't make a mistake, because if you die and lose all your stuff, you're going to be really sad, but so this right here is the really easy one-by-one room I like to do, because stairs only take brick. And so you go like this. And I always forget that there's no foundation. I'm like, oh wait, duh. Put the foundation in, and we go like that. So right there is a room. You just toss your loom inside of this. If you wanted to, you can make it a little bit bigger if you had enough mats for it, but I was like, we'll just do it like this for now.
Recognize my power.
And we are right here at the end. Can you believe it? We are one piece away from hitting level 50. We are well below 2 hours. I mean, and what does level 50 mean for us? Well, on normal mode, level 50 is enough to kill anything in Dunley. You can kill Bane, Jade, Aja, Octavian if you want to. You can even kill Raziel if you want to. Level 50 is also, for me, I'm actually comfortable at level 50 killing Domina. If you do some strats with Angram where you bait him towards the mutated rats and let the mutants fight him, you can also kill Angram at level 50. I am actually fairly comfortable killing Spider and even the Wanderer at level 50. So like there's just this crazy strat. Sometime I should just go like, what's the lowest level I can, level all, skip things for all the way up. Because once you have Dawnthorn, that's also like, obviously you'd have to have a Merc Iron weapon. That would be the thing that you need to be able to get silver. There's no way to get silver ingots in this game. Obviously you could farm silver, I guess. Actually, you could farm silver. But yeah, there's no other way you could farm silver like doing like container farms and stuff like that. That is something you could do, but I don't know if it's really worth doing. It's just easier to get like a Merc Iron weapon and not have to worry about it. But yeah, we were just waiting for the last little piece here. Super fun run so far. Definitely was nice to finally get this one up. So it just took such a long time for me to get all of this. I kept having annoying runs. I was trying to min-max the different routes. I might post another route of like how to do the Scourgestone Pendant as fast as possible, just to show what I mean when I say like, hey, instead of going Iron Weapon first, you can actually go Scourgestone Pendant first, which is also a whole lot less risk because all you need is 16 iron ingots and a copper spear in level 27, and that's really all you need, you know. And then other than that, you have to get like the Greater Blood Essence, which is kind of annoying to get, but it's not totally impossible. But yeah, this was a pretty crazy run. We're at right now we're at about an hour 40 minutes for the entirety of this run. You know, getting all the way to level 50 here. I'm just waiting for the last couple pieces of cotton. I was like, all right, we're sitting here waiting, twiddling our thumbs just for this little bit of extra time here. And that is it. Let's go ahead and make our final the gloves and have a little sit down. So hopefully this gives you guys some ideas. Again, I really like showcasing some of these strats to people who don't really have an understanding of what is possible or what you can do. This right here is the pure essence of what I love about this game, V-Rising, is just the ability to how much personal skill and theory crafting and strategy plays a role in your run. I mean, we're an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, it's about an hour and 40 minutes as of right now, I believe. We're about an hour and 40 minutes into actually playing the game, and I'm already crafting my last piece of Hallowfang. That is wild. I mean, there's just so much we can do here. I'm looking around the map here, just theorizing. Okay, what could I do next? I could go to Rat Hole here, get some reinforced planks, kill Maja. I need to go kill Grayson. I need to go, yeah, kill Maja, that kind of thing. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of different things from here, a lot of cool steps. But we made it. Level 50 in about an hour and 41-ish minutes, and that is how we do it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, feel free to leave a comment. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free. But until the next time, that is going to be it, and thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.